Hello guys and welcome. We got some really exciting news today about the upcoming Elsweyr patch. We will be able to test it on April 15th. It's going to be live on the PTS, so we'll be able to jump in there, play the Necromancer, try things to our heart's content, test out builds, etc. I'm super excited to finally jump on the PTS and play the Necromancer myself, so I cannot wait to do that. And of course, I will be live streaming my first impressions of the Necromancer with you guys as well. Now, I of course got this information from today's Bethesda Day in Boston. So there was some other information that they also dropped for us as well. So the first bit that I want to share pertains to the PvP campaigns. There are some changes coming to PvP campaigns in the Elsweyr patch. The first big change is that you will not be able to be Emperor on multiple factions. So if you're Emperor on AD and you're playing a DC character and you're getting close to getting Emp on DC as well, you will not be able to get Emperorship on another character as long as one of your characters is Emperor in a campaign in Cyrodiil. So I really like this change. There's no cross-faction Emperorship. It's something that, yet again, de-incentivizes faction hopping in PvP. Now, the next thing that they talked about regarding faction hopping is that we have faction-locked PvP campaigns now. So if you have one character kind of assigned to, let's say, Vivek that's Ebonheart packed, you will not be able to play a DC or AD character in Vivek. And I am interested to see how this change plays out. There will still be one campaign that is open to faction hopping, and that's going to be the 7-day campaign, but a majority of the campaigns will be faction locked. So as someone who has multiple characters across different factions, this can be an impact for me, but for the most part, I kind of stick to the EP faction. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about this particular change. It's something that the PvP community has definitely asked for in the past, but do we really know what we're asking for, I think, is kind of my point here. What kind of an impact is this going to have on people who just like to play with their friends, and maybe their friends are on different factions? Now, on top of these changes, the guest restrictions have also been lifted, so there is no penalty to change guest campaigns. You don't have to wait, you don't have to pay, you will just be able to enter and guest any campaign that your character is able to go into as well now. And then last but not least, there was a little bit of new information about Volendrung, specifically that you will not be able to carry Volendrung if you're Emperor. And I think that that was an important point to kind of share with you guys, because I know that Volendrung, the new PvP artifact that'll make you just kind of destroy everything around you, plus Emperorship would be crazy overpowered. Now, they did explicitly say during the live cast that Volendrung is supposed to feel overpowered, but of course it has the cost of you needing to constantly kill things or gain alliance points specifically. So it will be interesting to see how Volendrung plays out once we get on the PTS as well. We also got a little bit of a peek at the new trial that's to come. You're going to be fighting dragons as the bosses in the trial, and there is a hard mode option for each of the bosses. So I got to look at the trial a little bit. It looks really cool. We, of course, will show you guys a little bit of footage of what the dragons look like too. ZeniMax also stated that the trial will be very large, and it will be a longer trial, similar to something like Mauve Lorkjaw. So I don't really do trials, but that is something that the trial community, I think, has had as a concern, is that trials are a little bit too short. And finally, we got a little bit of a sneak peek at the new armor styles that we will be able to get from the trials as well. And we got a sneak peek at this skin, which the armor style wearing NPCs, they have the skin that you'll get from the trial too. And finally, guys, we got a little bit of information about Necromancer and what we can expect to come to Necromancer before it hits the PTS. So the first thing ZeniMax mentioned that I wanted to talk about was the fact that these skills needed a balance pass still. So the numbers we see on the skills are subject to change and likely will change before Necro hits the live server. And I think this includes the passives as well. We might see tweaks all across the board for Necromancer. So as it sits right now, expect to see some changes number-wise regarding Necromancer. As for the animations and the skills and how they work themselves, ZeniMax said that they've kind of polished that part. So we'll just see probably number crunching to come on the Necromancer more than anything else. And the next bit of information we got about Necro is that the summoned corpses that you use must spend some time while summoned in order to create a corpse for you to use afterwards. I think this is important because it would allow someone to stack a lot of corpses really quickly if they just quickly summoned and desummoned a whole bunch of skeletons. So yeah, a good call on that one there. And then finally, we got a little bit of an idea of what the vision for Necromancer is from ZeniMax. Rich mentioned that the playstyle of Necromancer is, of course, centralized around the fact that you're summoning and using corpses, so it's very movement-oriented and position-oriented more than anything else. They also mentioned that they wanted the Necromancer to feel very low on the buff management side of things, especially from the Warden we had last year, which has a lot of buff management on it. The Necromancer does not have a lot of buffs, to put it quite bluntly. You get a lot of debuffs through your abilities on your opponents, etc., but the Necromancer kit itself, if you guys watched my earlier video on Necro, is missing a huge amount of buffs itself. And Rich also mentioned that having a lot of stam morphs on the Necromancer was very important for them because they wanted the class to feel unique and to retain that Necromancer style regardless of whether you go for a stamina or a magicka build. And they also said that they wanted to keep the animations on Necromancer fast and snappy, pretty much to make them animation cancel friendly, and I really like that. As a player who cancels a lot, I think that that is an absolutely fantastic choice. So that is all the important news that I gathered from today's meetup in Boston. I wasn't actually there, but I got to watch the meetup myself, and I just went through the footage and watched everything over again to make sure I didn't miss anything. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about Necromancer to come, what you think about these changes that they say we're going to be seeing on the PTS, and I'd love to know what you guys are interested in running once you get on the PTS yourselves. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you guys are new here, hit that subscribe button. We stream live on Twitch, and I will be streaming my first interaction with Necromancer on the PTS. So check out the link in the description below if you guys want to join me for that. And finally, guys, we are sponsored by What the Fast. They're a VPN for gamers. They give me better ping to ESO, and they are 100% free to try for the first 14 days. So if you guys want to give them a shot, check out the link in the description below. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of news, and I'll see you next time.